Gates Adams here on behalf of Apex Trader Funding, and I am here today with Jared. Jared, again, of course, is one of our funded and paid traders with Apex Trader Funding. So first and foremost, I just want to take a moment to congratulate you on this accomplishment. Now, is this the first payout, or is this something that you've been starting to get consistently?
This is my first payout with you guys. So
congratulations. It's a pretty nice feeling, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah. It's been an awesome experience.
Excellent. Excellent. So as we kind of just move into this now, obviously we have you here because this is an opportunity to share your story and your experiences as you have achieved basically the level that every trader wants to achieve once they move into sort of the funded trading, the prop trading sort of scenario. So first of all, let's get a little history on you, your background as it applies to trading. How long have you been trading at this point?
You know, I honestly probably was part of the COVID wave for active trading. I've always managed my own retirement accounts and done trading in that regard. But really, when I got locked down, it was that opportunity in 2020 to dive into it. And I've been full-time trading since.
Excellent. Now, did you start off with futures or did you move in a different direction at first and then transition?
Yeah, good question. I actually, didn't really know where my ballpark was. I started, trading stocks, and then I started finding momentum, and, I started trading options and had a, great 2021. 2022 was a different story. And, I started to kind of look for different, sources of capital, really. And that's when I found you guys. And that's really kind of that jettisoned me into my futures trading career.
Got it. So you actually found Apex, and then because of the format, moved into a futures trading from that?
Yeah, I found after 2022 that I really needed to focus more on day trading and not so much swing trading.
Sure.
And after doing my homework, you guys were the ones that had the best criteria, and I felt like the best opportunity and obviously the best pricing. So I've been working with you guys exclusively since earlier this year.
Awesome. Now, was the transition from stocks and options into futures, was it a difficult transition for you, or did you find it pretty natural?
I obviously found it pretty natural, honestly. I think for me, success really happened with Apex once I kind of put my focus into it. I think I started out as it being a kind of a secondary option to my own accounts. And once I really dove into just focusing on Apex, focusing on my futures accounts, that's when success really kind of worked out for me.
Right on. Now, I love asking this question because everybody's answer is a little bit different. But when you first started going down that road and doing that research, when you discovered that there's funding and prop firms out there, companies that will actually fund your trading, what was that initial reaction, or were you already familiar with this type of program?
I've obviously heard of it, and this was probably years ago, and it was like there's a big barriers to entry. For me, it was extremely attractive for the scalability.
Right.
That was the number one trigger for me, being able to have a low entry and a high reward potential. So
awesome. Now, as far as your strategies, did your strategies, you said you moved more from a swing trade to a day trade. Did that affect the type of trading that you did, or was it similar, just scaled down time-wise?
Yeah, honestly, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's just a scaled down approach. Still monitoring the same things, whether it's volume profile or something along those lines. And in this day and age, I have bots going that I'm kind of watching and seeing what they're doing and giving me signals. And so that's kind of where I've been, and now it's just on a quicker time frame,
right?
Versus going for the home runs with the swing.
Now, you mentioned scaling. I think this brings up a great point, because through funding, of course, with a minimal investment, especially if you get on one of the big huge sales, for a very small amount of money, you have the opportunity to trade a significant number of contracts compared to what you might be able to with a smaller entry level account that you would fund yourself. If you would talk about that a little bit. Did you start off at a higher level, or did you scale up little by little as you developed your comfort, or maybe more of a buffer in your account?
Yeah, I think, given my background, I had a certain level of expectation of how much I wanted to make or manage. It was important for me. So for me, it's really kind of proof of concept And then it's been scaling for the last couple months.
Sure. Do you scale more through contracts, through number of accounts, or both?
Both, actually.
Okay. So you're trading multiple accounts at this point?
Yes, yes. I am up to 4 PA accounts, and should be doubling that here shortly, and working my way to 20.
Are you copying the trades, or are you treating them
100%. I do. That's a great point. I do love the spreading it out. I think, like, for me, when I was just in one account, the P&L, you get a little shock factor. But for whatever reason, if you're buying 20 contracts across 20 accounts, and you see one P&L moving $100 this way or that way, it's a lot easier mentally to kind of stick in the trade. And
that was a big factor for me as well. I remember the first time I scaled up from one contract to two, there was a big mental shift, and that was like my first blown evaluation when I moved into that. And I realized that there was a better opportunity for me, specifically trading that over multiple accounts versus multiple contracts, until my mind game moves into that better place where those numbers make more sense to me. So, at this point, what's the plan for you moving forward? Where do you see yourself moving as far as the funded trader goes?
My focus right now is working my way to 20 accounts. I've got a couple more months to work my way through the distribution requirements. So really just continuing to stay focused with Apex and making that my primary trading avenue.
Excellent. Wonderful. Now, if you're talking to a new trader, they've gotten to the point where they've figured out their strategy, they've paper traded it long enough, and they're ready to move into that world of being a funded trader versus necessarily making their own deposit.
Yeah.
Moving into this space, there's obvious value and benefits to it, but there's also some dynamics to it. What's the biggest piece of advice that you give someone moving down into this arena?
For me, I think it's stick with the prop trading, because your barriers to entry, like you said, if you're paper trading, then you're moving on to the evaluation accounts. For really a small amount of money, you're able to really, kind of fine tune it and, essentially kind of not have risk, right? I mean, you're paying that fee to get in and do the evaluation, but your downside isn't what it would be if it was a normal brokerage account and having to learn that way. So it's kind of the next step from a paper account. I think it's a natural progression to an evaluation, and it gets you ready for an actual funded account. And I think that's really important. Is early on, I would maybe try to get aggressive, and I found if I just look for my play, my setup, my base hit, and keep it consistent, whether it's an evaluation or funded account, and don't try to change that. I think that's really key, is just stick to what you know, and don't treat everything like it's real money immediately. Sure. Day one.
Excellent. Now, there's obviously the transition from paper to evaluation. Did you notice any difference? Of course, not necessarily from the cost standpoint, because we're talking about nominal difference when you get into an evaluation versus when you get into that PA. Psychologically speaking, now that not your money is necessarily on the line, but a payout is now on the line, did you have a shift psychologically speaking in that space?
Yeah, honestly, I think the shift kind of happened twofold. Working on evaluation accounts and moving to the prop was, I think when I first started working with you guys, I would be trading my own accounts, and then I'd kind of be on Apex on the side. And for me, it was a matter of, okay, if I'm going to focus on Apex, I'm going to treat every dollar like it's my own. And that jettisoned me to passing evaluations, not even coming close to the drawdown, not over levering, or revenge trading. It was trade exactly how you're supposed to trade, stay mentally aware, and treat the evaluation account just like a prop account. Because if you pass an evaluation account with this mindset that it's not real, like you will probably blow up your first prop account. And I found that just treating everything like it's my own money is the key to success.
Well, and ultimately, when you're in PA status and you've reached that level where you qualify to take a payout, that is your money at that point. It's just not money that you had to put in. So that's kind of a nice factor, and maybe softens it a little bit psychologically speaking. But yeah, I think that I know for me, there's definitely been a shift, and different traders operate differently. But I think it's just a great thing to set those expectations for those new traders that are coming in. So, well, man, I appreciate your time, Jared. This has been great. A lot of great information that I think is going to help a lot of traders moving into this space. And obviously, as we move forward, I'd love to see that continued success on your end. What I like to do is a couple months after we have this initial interview is just kind of catch back up, see how you're coming along, and just see how that process is moving forward for you. You up to catching back up in a couple months?
100%.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon and keep it green.
Hey, sounds good. You too.
All right, take care.